Thank you, Minister Pia. Minister Sando will come to you. We'll go up to Patrick. You have not spoken for a while. Thank you, Minister. Let me make sure you're muted. Because for some reason, okay, you are muted. Minister Sando, is anybody holding the president hostage?
You know, Dwalu, thank you for bringing me on. And I'm very much excited on the trend of the conversation. But I just want to say that it is important for our people who are listening to us to get to understand the true motive of some of these people who think that politics is all about deception. You hear someone saying, oh, the Unity Party Alliance won the campaign, won the election through lies. So you see, they themselves now are trying to peddle lies and create scenario where it do not exist. And so you see some senators who are supposed to be in charge of the drug issue, because on a very serious note, the Liberian Senate took siege of the matter. They've been briefed on 2 separate occasions. And through the Committee on Defense, Security, and Intelligence, the Senate has been briefed regularly. But for 2 of these senators to keep coming on the radio and making insinuation that draws the integrity of the Liberian Senate into question is mind-blowing, and I thought it is something that should be brought to the attention of the leadership of the Senate. Senator Amara Konneh believes that the president is being held hostage because people who are involved with the drug situation are being arrested, are being prosecuted, some are being suspended, some are being dismissed. So all the things they didn't expect to happen are happening. So they still try to create doubt where there's no doubt. And to that end, I listened to one of them was on one of the show the other day. He said the quietude in the country is sponsored by the way the government is handling it. Because the government has not opted to protect anybody who is involved with it. Hairs are rolling. So the reason why some of the people in opposition are quiet is because they know what is coming for them. The drug scenario in the country didn't start in 2024. You listen to the Minister of Justice, who is the co-chair of the Joint National Security. He said it is believed to have started about 6 years ago. And that information was corroborated by what the police RG said. So the way the president has handled this issue clearly shows that he's a decisive leader. And he's not being held hostage anywhere. The president surrounds himself with sincere people who are good intention for the country. So when Senator Amara Konneh making the insinuation, he should also know that he's thwarting with the reputation of others who have lived to build that reputation for themselves. And these are the people who don't like you to disagree with them. Oh, they're attacking us because we're expressing our view. But the views that you're expressing about other people are very offensive. So when you say the president is being held hostage, what are you saying? That the president, National Security Advisor, Mr. Kofi Woods, is trying to arm towards the president to do something wrong? Are you saying that the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs got other motives that he's pursuing, for which the desire of the president on this issue is not being implemented? And like who said, sometimes when you're talking to people, know who you're talking to. Because Senator Konneh knows that the things he's saying will not penetrate the walls of the intelligentsia. He's simply talking for the sake of talking so that people can say, oh yeah, Amara then a critical voice. But who consider Amara a critical voice in Liberia? When this man bears some of the greater responsibility for reversing the gains the country made in the past. Minister Pierre mentioned the bringing of we to the presidency. Amara was at the core. He was at the core. They came here, they organized fictitious pool Now make it to appear that nobody ever won the election in 2017 other than George Weah. Amara was at the epic center of all of these fictitious and dealings, just to set the public tone that that the whole country was prepared to elect Weah as president. And indeed, the plot was successfully executed. They went, they connived, they colluded, and systematically rigged that election and said to the public that look, the men won 14 counties. Somebody who was in opposition, never had the money to campaign through all the country, no logistics, no message, nothing on the count, could win 14 counties. When you made him president, and president by default, 6 years after, he spent over 100 million in the campaign. He couldn't defeat the Joseph Boakai, who they say was sick or going to die the next year after the election. So you see the paradox, you see the contradiction.
Sando,
so
spend the money, the boss is finna eat the money.
So if I mean, I know Amara is out. He come from the Islamic faith, but as Christian, when I'm guilty, I go to seek the face of God in supplication for the things that Amara colluded and did to this country, for which it seems now that we are starting anew on the leadership of President Boakai. He needs to take a time to go to the mosque on Friday to seek the face of Allah in supplication. Let it be forgive. Because this country, there are so many persons who died by the roadside because the hospitals were not functional. There are so many students who cannot go to school because of the decision that the likes of Amara made to make George Weah president. We have not forgotten it. So when they come here and pretend that there's some angel and they got all the solutions to the country's problem, it becomes so annoying. We know them. And so they shouldn't toy with the intelligence of our people.
Thank you.
We have a government to run.
Thank you.
It is good that you are a member of the Senate and you don't see yourself as part of the government. The other day when I tried to question the senator's handling of the PSC, he took offense. But you know, the Public Account Committee is a very key committee. And I see him trying to carry out public hearing on all the reports that are almost 3, 4, 10 years old. What has he been doing for the last 2 years, 6 months in the Senate? The PSC received direct support from the leadership of the Senate. Monies are given every time. What report? What? Where are they with the audit report? So, I mean, the way people see politics are deception and things that everybody in the country have suddenly become stupid. And when you even go on the radio and say things that don't make sense, people believe you, is wrong. The Liberian people are very intelligent. And that's why when Senator Snow the other day tried to reduce everything about this country that is 179 years old to bread and butter, we say we're very disrespectful. When you're here, then you go to Ghana. You fly, you go to India. How many Liberians get a full ticket? So we try to build hospitals, we try to build roads, we try to bring in pipe-borne water, improve basic social services, connect new county where electricity is, give the government a time. Because some of you, particularly Mr. Snow, the government that came from, the government they had a year, would know what happened. So we do not want to deep dive into the history. The country has to move forward. And so far, so good. To conclude, I think the president's handling, the government handling of the drug situation is excellent so far. If anybody thinks that the spark in the arrest of the drug or the arrest of 3 million drugs, so it means that drug in the country, no. The reason why these drugs are being arrested is because the government said we got zero tolerance position. Nobody will use our country as a transit point to traffic drugs. That's why, because of the posture of the government, because of that policy, more drugs will be arrested. Unlike in time past, where millions of drugs were arrested and not a single person could be held accountable, today we can list about 20 persons that have been lined up for trial. And we have to use our platform wherever we are to call on the Liberians who will be selected as jurors in our court. They have to see this case beyond their normal political chicanery. It is not about the CDC or the Unity Party. It's about Liberia. When you are a citizen being selected to serve as juror in that case, you must put your country first. You must see your brothers, your sisters that are dying in the ghetto on a daily basis to say, look, I have to take a decision because this thing is destroying my country. That's my own charge to the people who will be selected as juror. As we proceed with the conversation, we have to do it consistently because I'm doing this because I'm told the judge today opened the process for jury selection. I know we cannot intervene, but they are Liberian citizens who will be selected. You have to pay heed to the advice we are giving you. Thank you very much.